to episode 9 of the Cozy Moth Knits podcast. My name is Caitlin, and you can find me as the Cozy Moth Knits on Instagram and as Cozy Moth Knits on Ravelry. You can give me a follow in both those places, both those platforms. I'm definitely more active on Instagram. That's the social media I use more frequently. I keep promising that I'm gonna be better on Ravelry, but it's not really happening at this point in the new year quite yet. Soon, I think I'll make more of an effort to do it. But in the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram as I keep saying as, and I keep catching myself, but at the Cozy Moth Knits over there on Instagram. You can give me a follow over there. In addition to knitting content, every once in a while I'll post up a meme or something funny that's on my mind, or something related to an Enneagram or whatever, something I feel like my viewers, my followers, my community would enjoy. I hope you guys enjoy it. I definitely use my knitting Instagram more than my personal Instagram. I'm learning. Just my knitting Instagram makes me happy, you know. So we have a few things to get into today. I wrote down in my notes that I didn't have any whips, but I don't. But I do, I mean. I kept forgetting that I had whips. So I have a couple whips, a couple FOs, and just some other things I wanted to chat about. So let's see. Let's get started with the first FO, which is this, which is the thing I've been talking about for months at this point, but it is the Pajama Cardigan by Judy, Jewell of the Autumn Acorn, and I cast it off or bound it off or whatever the right term is. I should know this. I cast everything off like a week ago. I finished the last sleeve, this one I think, and then I spent all day that Saturday. I think I finished it Friday, the sleeve on Friday, and then all day Saturday I went and got coffee because I knew I was going to need it, and literally all day Saturday sewing this together. This was my first experience sewing a garment together, and I had expressed on Instagram that I was super nervous about it because I had never sewn a garment together, and I'm not good at sewing in general. Like at the beginning of the pandemic, I attempted to make face masks for me and my manager because it was just the two of us working in our office. And God bless him, he wore that mask that I made for him, even though it was awful. I literally spent all afternoon sewing it, and it was a mess. It was fraying. It was like from an old pillowcase because I didn't want to go out and buy fabric because I knew I had fabric. I had pillowcases and sheets that like weren't being used, and I had used for other sewing projects, so like they had already been cut up. But yeah, it was a mess, and again, God bless him for wearing it. At least up until he did make some modifications. His wife does have a sewing machine. I don't. But anyway, all that to say, I'm not good at sewing. Not at all. I don't have the patience for it. And no matter how hard I try, even when I do have the patience, I can't. It doesn't. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 2022 is the year that I take up sewing and embroidery, but this year we're gonna do crochet and spinning. Like that's my goal for 2021. But anyway, I'm not good at sewing, I've said for the 5th time. So I was really nervous about sewing this together. I'm afraid that it wasn't gonna come out quite right or look wonky, because the garments that I made have been like, okay, you sew the body and then you separate for the arms, and then like, oh, like you just like leave the arms like on, you know, a stitch holder or a like a piece of string, another piece of yarn, and then you just pick it up and then go from there. Like it's not literally in pieces where I have to sew it together. And someone on my Instagram, I'll put her name here, and I'm so sorry, I totally like I get so many messages from you guys, and I really love them. I appreciate them. I love talking to you all, but sometimes they get a little jumbled up, and I'm not good at remembering names, so I apologize. But one of my sweet followers reached out to me and said, you know, you're going to, you know, once you get into it, you're gonna like it. Like, she was like, you know, sewing together garments is like my favorite thing. It's, you know, relaxing. It's really nice. And I'm like, okay, like, I trust you. I'm like, I'm still a little nervous. You know, like, maybe the first time, you know, like, after the first time I'll get it. And let me tell you, it was much more relaxing than I thought it was gonna be. It was slow, it was intentional. My word of the year. It was, I wasn't trying to get it done as fast as I could. I was like, you know, taking my time with it. I was like, okay, like, I watched so many tutorials, but it happened. Like, it came together. Literally, it all came together. And right when I was done, I messaged her back and said, like, I did it, and you're right, it was lovely, and I really liked it, and I'll do it again. But yeah, so I'm done the cardigan, and I feel like I've been working on it for years. Life has, so much has happened in these past couple months, but yeah, so I will, I'll try to put up some pictures, because when I try to stand up and show it, like, it just doesn't do it justice. And I haven't had a chance to, like, sit down and have, like, an actual, like, photo shoot with it, but I'm gonna try to do it tomorrow in between editing. And then I'll try to put a picture, I'll make room, I'll put it here, maybe. But, and also, I don't think you want to stand up and see my sweatpants. Literally from here up, I'm put together. From here down, I'm frumpy. But it's cozy. It's where the cozy moth knits here. You know, we have to be cozy. But I really enjoy the whole process of it. When I here's the button band, by the way. The button band keeps like falling in. I did block it. I soaked it, and I laid it out on some towels, because I don't have, you know, blocking boards, because I'm not fancy like that, or blocking mats or whatever. But thank you for everyone who said, like, you don't have to have blocking mats to block, you know, to block anything. Like, you don't have to have that. Like, no worries. I'm like, okay, good. Like, I'm not, like, just cheap. But yeah, I laid it out on the floor. It sat here in this room from Saturday night till Monday night. That's how long it took for it to dry, because this is very dense fabric, nice and warm. So that's how long it took. And then Monday night I sewed on the pockets, which were a little bit more difficult to do, but they turned out fine. They served their purpose, their pockets. And then I put it on, and I looked in the mirror, and I had the Grinch moment, the ooh, ah, and I pulled out my phone, and I did a little story on Instagram. Like, I'm feeling myself tonight in my cardigan that I worked so hard on, and it's big and oversized, and this is how I wanted it. I wanted it to be oversized. Otherwise, I knit the large size. Otherwise, I probably would have been somewhere between a small and a medium if I wanted it to, like, be like my actual size. But I like, I've said this before, I like oversized garments. So, and I've already taken her out into the world. I wore her to my Bible study on Wednesday night, and no one asked me about my cardigan. No one did. And I got in my car and I said, man, like, I brought you out into the world, my pajama cardigan, and no one cared. I'm just kidding. I'm being hyperbolic, obviously, but it was very cold in our meeting space, because we meet in a larger building, and it's hard to, and there's no central air, so it's hard to, like, sorry, that's me. It's hard to regulate the temperature. So we have a bunch of those, like, units that, like, go, like, you know, on the ceiling or, like, by windows. So we have a bunch of those, but in our meeting space, very tall ceilings, so all the heat just goes up. But anyway, all that to say, all the ladies in our circle had their coats on and their hats, and it was just me in my cardigan and my leggings and my sneakers, and I was comfy cozy, and I was the perfect temperature. So very, very nice and warm fabric. So that is my finished object number 1. And I'm very happy with it. And I've already like hung her up in my closet. Like she's a good little cardigan. I will definitely be wearing her all the time. So yeah, that is finished object number 1. I highly recommend. And I'll talk more about the knit along in a little bit. So my next finished object I talked about it in my last podcast. I had just started it, or like I had started it and then restarted it. But it is the Anchors hat by Petite Knit. And yeah, it's just the most simple pattern. And it's simple in a very good way. You know, it's simple, but you still have the details. So it is just a 1x1 rib, and you know, with these little lines, you can't really see, but there's like, they're broken off into sections. It's kind of hard to see with this type of yarn. And this yarn is God Rest You Merry Hippogriff by Bumblebee Acres, and it was the 25th, like the full skein that came in their advent. I don't know if they're gonna make it into, I don't think they're gonna make it into like an actual skein that you can buy on their website. But I saw this and I was like, that'd make a good hat. And it's held double with knitting Niqabis. Here I am double guessing, or you know, second guessing myself. I'm sorry. Knitting Niqabis, mohair base, which I still have. Like I have used this that mohair base on 2 hats, and I still have enough for another hat. But it, you know, it serves its purpose. I've already worn it out and about. I wore it to go get coffee on Saturday, and it is very warm. You can knit this in a day. Like it's a very quick knit. You know, it's fingering a mohair held together. But it fed my my desire for mohair, which I'm loving more and more, and I want more and more mohair in my life. More mohair. But yeah, I will have the pattern link below. So Blue says, stop talking. Like, oh, mommy, please shut up. No one wants to hear about you. Talk about your hat. Like, who cares? She's very angry that she's not getting any attention. But yes, that is my hat. I showed it to my mom, and I knew this would be a hat my mom would really like, so I'll probably make her another one because I have enough for another one of these. Enough in both yarns for another one, so I'll probably make her another one. Yeah. Not much else to say about it. It's a hat. It's a lovely hat. This is the largest size, by the way. I did start with the medium, but it came out like a child size hat. I didn't swatch for gauge. With some things like socks and hats, like I don't swatch. Not that it's not worth it, because of course it's important, but I don't, with things that are that small, and like with socks, with socks, like I just like measure it, you know, like and I don't know, with sometimes socks, like I don't follow patterns to a T. I, you know, adjust it to a way that like fits my own foot. Like I like a tighter sock, so like I'm a size 8, but I'll probably knit like a size 7 to fit my foot, US sizes. And same with hats. Like I know like my circumference is like 24 inches or something like that. So I just knit accordingly, and if I get to like here, if it's from bottom up, but I'm like, that looks a little small, so I just rip it back, because the project is small enough that like it's not the end of the world for me. Not like a sweater. Of course I'm going to swatch for a sweater, but like yeah, for hats and socks I don't really bother with swatching, unless I absolutely have to. There's some other situations where I do swatch, and I will talk about that soon, for a small item. like a hat or a sock. So yeah, again, that is the Anchors hat by Petite Knit. So that is WIP, or finished object number 2. Finished object number 3 is something that I'm very, very excited about. And this is an object, this is something that I did swatch for. So, my dear, dear friend, Judy, Judy Jewell of the Autumn Acorn, revolutionized the sock knitting process by earlier this year releasing a pattern called the Magic Heel Sock. And it was a sock where on the heel, instead of like either, you know, doing short rows for a heel or doing a heel flap and gusset, during the heel portion, you add a 2x2 rib, and it fits to your foot very well. And it got so many people to start knitting socks for the first time and like introduce them into the world of sock knitting. And then you can either continue to knit socks like that, or you can move your way up, which, like, I don't mean to like say that like Magic Heel Sock is like the beginner pattern, but I know it did introduce a lot of people into sock knitting. So I'm not saying that this is a lesser pattern. That's not what I'm trying to say at all, because it's a great pattern. But pretty soon she's releasing a version of these socks in a DK weight, which is a thicker, more substantial sock. And I had not had the opportunity to knit the Magic Heel Socks, the original, because I was working on so many other things. It came out around a little before the holidays. It came out like right before I started the Cozy Acorn knit along. So I just didn't have the time to do it. But she put out a call to test knit the DK version of her socks. And I jumped on that opportunity because 1, I want to learn how to make them. 2, it's my friend Judy. And I want to do something for Judy to help her out. And 3, I'd never knit DK socks before, so I figured this will be good too. And 4, one of my goals in my last video was to participate in a test knit. So I'm like, oh, here we go. I'll participate in a test knit. So these are I'm going to show you one right now. These are the Magic Heel DK socks. And they don't look like much now, but on the foot, they look pretty great. Maybe I'll put them on. But these were so fun to make. It's such an easy and quick pattern. I knit both these socks in less than a week. Like, I started it on Monday, I think. Started them on Monday, finished them on a Thursday. And I knit them on and off throughout the day, and it just went by so quickly. And this pattern, this texture section, which we did, if you're familiar with this, if you're familiar with the pajama cardigan, is comparable to the texture section. The texture section in the pajama cardigan. It's pretty much the same deal. And I love this. It breaks up, I wrote this in my little knitting journal, it breaks up the monotonous feeling of, you knit the leg, and like, okay, then you do the heel, and then you knit the foot, and sometimes it can get boring, but this broke it up, and I love that. And it made it go by so much faster. Maybe you want to keep doing it. I'm like, okay, I did this. I'm like, okay, I have to do this. I'm like, well, I have time to do this section again. It's like, oh, well, then I have time to do the next one. It kept me going. It was very motivational. And these are knit, by the way, in Knitting Nakabi's DK base in her Winnie colorway, which was a gift from her. And thank you very much, Kelsey. I love it. Kelsey's bases are so soft. They are so soft. I don't know what it is, but they feel like moisturizing. That's like a weird way to describe it, but like, I'm knitting this and then I touch my fingers and I'm like, oh, this is nice, because my hands are normally super dry. I hate lotion on my hands. I hate the feeling of lotion, moisturizer, anything on my hands. I don't like it. I mean, hand sanitizer is a whole other thing. It's gone in 2 seconds. I want to preface that because we're in a pandemic, not that I'm anti-hand sanitizer, but yeah, like lotion, like moisturizing type things on my hand, I don't like it. But so my hands are always dry, but I remember distinctly, it's kind of funny, I have been knitting these all day, and then like for some reason, like Phil, my husband, had like grabbed my hand and he's like, your hands are so soft. I'm like, yeah, I guess they are. But yeah, something about Kelsey's bases, they're so soft. Maybe it's the type of natural dyes that she uses are also, I don't know what it is, but like this is like one of the softest bases I've ever worked with. But yeah, so I'll put this on my foot so you can see. Currently, I am wearing my my Hermione's Everyday Socks with my slippers. So I'm gonna put on one for right now because my second one, I do have a funny story to share with you. So I'm putting on one now. So here we go. Being flexible right now. Like, look how it like just shapes to your heel. It's lovely. I love it. I wore them all night last night in my slippers, and my feet were just cozy, just extra cozy. So that's how they look on, and I do have pictures so that you don't have to like, here, I'll put more pictures here. Because that didn't really give it justice. Well, I'm putting on my sock, my original sock. My second sock has a bit of a story. So, silly me, I did not consider that not all DK skeins are alike, or not all skeins of yarn are alike. In my head, because I looked at the pattern and saw the amount of yarn that was needed, and basically it was 250 yards, I think. And in my head, I'm like, okay, I know I have a skein from Kelsey in that beautiful yellow colorway, that golden yellow, and I'm like, okay, I know that's 100 grams, so I'll just knit from there. I got to about here on the second sock, and I was like, there's not a lot of yarn left over. So I went back and looked, and Kelsey's DK skeins per 100 grams are like 238 yards, and I need like 250. So I was gonna be short. So I was like, oh no, this is awful. And but I knew that I had some yarn left over from the Storm's Approach hat that I had knit, just a little bit ago. So I used some of that to finish this sock. So it's the same yarn, it's the same base, just different color. I just like, I don't know what to say about it. So take it from me. Remember, always check the yardage on your skein. Always check the yardage. Not all skeins are alike. Just because it's 100 grams DK weight yarn doesn't mean it's going to be 250. It could be more, it could be less. 250 yards. Could be more, could be less. So take it from me. Learn the lesson that I had to learn. Oh, and like throughout the whole process, I had bought it's behind me, but I bought a digital kitchen scale because I'm going to do another test knit soon, and I had to record the amount of yarn and the yardage that I used, and I'm like, well, I need to get a kitchen scale so I can measure it out. So I got that, and then I learned how to do knitting math and how to get, like, if you have, 83 grams of DK weight yarn, how many yards is that? Like, I got to learn that. So, like, I learned some good lessons this week. But I sent the pictures to Judy, and I put on my Instagram too. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a trend. It's going to be a trend where, there's contrasting color in the socks, but only on the right toe. Only on the right toe. No cuffs, no heels. Right toe only, contrast color. Like, we're going to start the trend here. And Yeah, so all you can do is laugh about it, right? I mean, like, at least the project was done. It's the same yarn, it's just different color. But yes, always double check the yardage in your skeins. And because otherwise you'll end up doing what I did. Or you can continue on the trend with me. And make it seem like I didn't make a stupid mistake. So yeah, that is finished object number 3, and the pattern will be out soon. When it comes out, I'll post on my Instagram. But yeah, that should be coming out. I think Judy's gonna try to get it out in February. That's what I'm guessing. She didn't really give us a date, but I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna figure sometime in February. And if not, then I know Judy comments on my videos, so maybe you can clear that up for me. If you have a set date yet, no pressure, of course. And always, and by the way, go give Judy a follow on her Instagram, and her Ravelry and her YouTube channel. She's a lovely lady and makes great content. Alrighty, so those are my finished objects. So I'm gonna move on to whips. It's getting dark, so I'm trying to like speed it up a little. A little break for water, I guess. I have people like, I work at a front desk at a physical therapy clinic, so I'm the first person people see when they walk into the clinic. So I have my water bottle sitting, sitting on the desk. And people ask me all the time, they're like, did you buy that water bottle like that? Like with like the stickers on it? Or like, did you put the stickers on yourself? Like, no, I put the stickers on myself. These are my own stickers. I didn't buy it looking like this. But I always find it to be a funny, interesting question. I'm like, it's a valid question, sure, because I know like some things like are made to like look like things like this, so I get it, but it's also like, it's such like a strange array of stickers. I don't know. It's kind of like, yeah. I've run out of room to add more stickers, so this is probably my favorite one right here. The screaming cat. That was like my favorite meme of 2019. Thurston, the cat. But yeah, so interesting facts about my water bottle. Anyway, first whip is I'm still working on my habitation throw. Believe it or not. It's coming along. I decreased, I think I decreased last time I talked to you guys, or I am decreasing. I have 5 mini skeins left, or 5 and an eighth of a mini skein left. It's coming along. I was working on other things. I had other, other projects took priority, including this and the Magic Heel DK socks. So like what I've been doing is I'll come home from work and I'll work on this. Like this has been like my at-home project as of late. I try to get through a mini skein a night, but because other projects took priority, this sat on my kitchen counter. So there's a where I keep all my knitting stuff. You saw it in my Vlogmas, kind of, if you're paying attention. If you're like me and you like to look at other people's homes, or like just homes in general and the layouts and everything. Not that I'm like looking in other people's homes. That sounded weird. Like I'm the type of person who likes to go on Zillow just to look at homes. Like I don't know if you guys are like that too, but I pay attention to those sort of things. My dad is a general contractor and built homes, or built a lot of residential, or worked on a lot of residential projects for a long time. And so getting to like see other people's homes and look at like floor plans, like that always interests me. Anyway, you notice I have a tall, like I have my living room, and which has my TV and like my primary knitting spot and my kitchen. And it's kind of blocked off halfway with like a peninsula. It's tall. It's like a bar. It's like a bar top height peninsula. And on that peninsula, I put my knitting projects. Like I had my baskets and like some spare needles and like yarn and like patterns. Like that's where everything hangs out downstairs. But yeah, so this has been sitting on that countertop for a little over a week, untouched until today. I picked it up again and I worked on this color primarily, this top one. But I just did the yarn overs that, or started the yarn overs that like get that, you know, yarn over effect. So that's what I'm working on. My plan is to have this done, to have this done by the next podcast, and then you can actually see it in all of its glory. So that's whip number 1. Yay, moving right along. Whip number 2, sorry, I have so much stuff, are my Solstice socks. And again, these, I started, these are my New Year's cast on. I was not in my home for the first couple days of New Year's. I spent time with my husband's family. And, but I brought this down. I'm like, this is going to be my New Year's cast on. And I haven't gotten that far on them. These are now like one of my primary projects for right now. So yeah, you can see the pattern much better on camera. Like in person, like I can barely see it. But I'm really liking it. I like, it's super easy. It looks intricate, but it's just like repeats of like 5 or 3 stitches. Like it's awesome. I love it. But yeah, like I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving the mohair held together. This is in, oh, I didn't talk. The Habitation Throw, by the way, is my Advent project. I had the Bumblebee Acres 2020 Prisoner of Azkaban Advent yarn calendar. And these are the skeins from that. This is the Ritual Dyes Winter Solstice like pack pattern thing. So it came with this little bag, 3 skeins of yarn, a pattern, like really nice like cardstock pattern, and this candle. That one. And something else came in it, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I showed it in, I can't remember if I showed it in my last podcast or the last episode of Vlogmas. I think it was my last podcast. But yeah, so it's coming along. Sorry again. May barks at every little thing. But yeah, it's coming along. It's one of those sock patterns where you, when I was knitting this at the time, I didn't have scrap yarn, so I just used one of the contrasting color, where you, it's an afterthought heel, so you can see that line right there. That's where the heel will go. So I'm almost done the foot, and then I'll start decreasing for the toe. Yeah. I find afterthought heels with making socks to be stressful, because I don't know like how big the heel is going to be and how it's going to accommodate, or how it's going to affect the toe and like the length of the sock. And like I said earlier, I like a tight sock. I'd rather the sock be tight on me than loose and floppy at the end, you know, like, so we shall see. Hopefully this turns out well. I'm going to turn on a light because it's definitely starting to get dark in here. But I like this little bag. It's perfect size. Like I said, I'm really enjoying this. It's just a fun little pattern. That's whip number 2. I'm going to turn on the light. Oh, I forgot that it's connected. There. Yeah, you can see me. But yeah. So that's whip number 2. Whip number 3 isn't technically a whip yet. It is a, I swatched for it last night, but I just need to get it on the needles, but I haven't done it yet. But I'm going to make the Montrealer sweater for Phil. It's not going to be striped. It's going to be all one color. But yeah, Phil asked me to make him a sweater, so this is what I'm making him. I'm really excited for it. I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun. I feel like it'll be interesting. I'm sorry, that may keep sparking. It's going to be very interesting, but we shall see how it goes. I did see one of my knitting friends, Hannah. She had posted, I'll put her Instagram handle here. You can give her a follow. She posted today, actually, that she's going to join in on, I just followed her, this new person today. Skeiniac, I believe is her name. The Skeiniac sweater worthy mal, so make along. And the object of this make along is, you know, make something in a sweater's quantity of yarn for someone, like either your significant other or someone who you love very much. So this isn't a project for yourself, it's a project for someone else. And I saw that and I was like, I like that idea, so I'm going to join in on that mal with the Montrealer sweater because I technically haven't started it yet. But yeah, so I'm excited for that, you know, to see what everyone else is working on. I feel like this will be a fun sweater. It's kind of like a hoodie, which appealed to my husband because my husband has like, he wears hoodies all day at work. That's part of his job. Or like it's essential for his job because he works in a cooler and he's a fruit inspector. If you didn't hear his backstory on my Vlogmas, he's a fruit inspector, so he works in the coolers at the docks, so it's cold all the time. Even during the summer, he's leaving work in hoodies and multiple layers. And but he has like nice hoodies too, like lightweight hoodies that like he could like wear to church or like to youth group, you know, like, so I'm making him that with that in mind, like not for him to wear to work. but he looks good in a hoodie. I think it fits his physique. So that's what I'm going to work on, and I'm going to join the sweater worthy mal, and I'll put that hashtag here, and Skeiniac's Instagram too if you want to give her a follow. I think the make along is on Instagram only. I don't know if it's on Ravelry. From what I understand, it's not. So yeah, we shall see. So that's whip number 3 that hasn't been cast on yet, but it's been swatched. So I'll be starting that this week. That's the plan. I do have a couple of other things, like some dream knitting. I guess dream knitting isn't the right phrase because like I'm not really making these things for myself. But a couple things that are coming in the works, but like yarn isn't here yet, or I just haven't started them. On New Year's Eve, my I was celebrating Christmas with my husband's family on New Year's Eve, because like that was just the day it like worked for everyone to get together. And my dad texted me, and he was with a couple of his buddies that he sees frequently, he works with, so like, you know, anyway, he was with a couple of his buddies, and like they were just hanging, just low-key New Year's Eve hangout. And my dad comes out of his bedroom in the socks that I made him for Christmas, and my dad loves these socks, and I'm so happy that he loves these socks. He like texted me, he's like, so how do I take care of them? Like, when am I supposed to wash these? Like, how do I wash them? Like, you know, like, it's so funny. But he loves these socks, so he came out in these socks, and his friends are like, nice socks. Where'd you get those socks? You know, like, because they're, if you saw them in my Vlogmas, they're like kind of checkered, and they have like you know, a bright red, you know, cuff and heel and toe, and they're cool looking. I really like them for him. And he was like, Caitlin made them. And I'm like, oh, so cool. Like, you know, like, that's awesome. And then I prompted, you know, like, the type of yarn that I used and, like, how long it took me to make them and this, that, and the other. And one of his buddies goes, do you think she'll make me a pair of socks? So his request was to make Buffalo Bills socks. So the Buffalo Bills, the football team. So I have yarn from Knit Picks on the way. It's gonna be, you know, the red, white, and blue, the buffalo colors, but also he wants like bills written across the toe. So we'll see how that goes. I'm a little nervous about that. I know I can do it. It's just like, I'm afraid that I'm gonna do it like upside down or like the wrong way. So like trying to like wrap my head around it. I know it'll happen. But it's just one of those things, you know, I had to like do some thinking. So as soon as that yarn comes in, I'm gonna start making that for him, because I told him it would take like a month, but we're halfway through January at this point and the yarn still isn't here, because that's where we are right now. But I like telling my dad, I'm like, the yarn's still on its way, it says it's in transit, you know, like, and my dad's like, no, don't worry, like, you don't have to get it to him soon. But I want to try to get it for him, like, in a timely manner. He said he'll pay me, so I'm like, okay, I'll make socks if you're gonna pay me. But so I'll be making those for my dad's friend. I'm gonna try to make a hat for my mom. I have a friend in mind who I want to make a one of those like headbands, you know, like knitted headbands. She has like the hair and the face for it. You know, like some people, like you can't pull it off very well, but she has like beautiful curly hair, and I feel like it would just fit her personality and her face shape very well. So I think I'm going to make her that with my leftover Stress Knits No Trail to Follow. It's right here. But so I want to make her one of those, but that's like a quick project. I found one, it's a free pattern, it's like a twist. If I, you know, I might save it until the next podcast to show you if I do have the time to make it. So that's something else. Another thing, I did sign up for another test knit that my friend Kelsey Gardner of Knitting a Copy is, she put out a test knit for. I did order yarn from her, and I'm waiting for the yarn to come in before I start it. So I'll show you that process, or I'll show you that once, hopefully by the next podcast it'll be done. I expect it to be done. I expect the yarn to be here hopefully early next week, and then I'll work on that project throughout the whole week and get it done. It's a smaller project, probably comparable to, I mean, it's a cowl. It's a cowl. So it's a smaller project. It's not like a shawl or sweater or anything. So like I expect to be able to have the time to, or be able to get it done within a week. That's what I hope. Because I've read through the pattern and everything, and it seems doable. But yes, waiting for that yarn to come in. If it's not in by Wednesday of this week, then I'll just find other yarn to make it with, because I don't want to hold that up. So yeah, so that's something else I want to do. Oh, and I have a little acquisition, just a little one. I've talked about her on this podcast before. My little friend from church, and she's in our youth group, and she crochets. She makes her own clothes. She's awesome. She's a sweet little girl. She came to church the other day, and she had a skein in her hand, and she was like, this is something I wanted to give you. She's like, I feel like you would like it. I'm like, and I do. I love it. It's so cute. A beautiful dark purple. I don't even know what this is, but it's pretty. Maybe it's a Surrey alpaca. I don't know. It's very, very soft. I can't tell. And it's like that, sorry, blue wants attention. It has that, I don't even know how to describe. I don't even know how to describe it. If you know how to describe it, let me know in the comments. But it's beautiful, and it could be made into a beautiful hat, I'm sure. Or I know it can be made into a beautiful hat, and that's probably what I'm going to make it in. But when she gave me the skein, I was like, girl, I'm like, I've been meaning to make you something. Like, I don't know what. I'm like, so what do you want? Tell me what you want and I'll make it for you. And she's like, oh, well, thank you, Miss Caitlin. She's like, I've been thinking about making you something too. Like, I just don't know what. Yeah, because she crochets. But she says she wants socks. So I'm probably going to make her some DK Magic Heel socks. Because they make up so quickly. And they're just fun. They're fun socks. So that's probably what I'm going to make her. And I'll find something to make with this. I'll find a pattern. Just not sure what quite yet. But, little Blue sniffing it. Sniff it? See a little nose. But yeah, that's a little mini acquisition. But yeah, that's a little mini acquisition for you. And what else? What else? I have my notes here. Oh, so update on the Cozy Acorn knit along. Sorry, I have a little something here. If you missed my last podcast, go back and take a look. Go back and watch. I presented the. Everything's a mess. I presented the prizes. You can't really see it here. But I presented the prizes for the knit along, the Cozy Acorn knit along. And yeah, so I finally put on Ravelry the finished objects like chatterbox. And so to enter into the giveaway, you need to post your finished object on that chatterbox, which I will put the link to the knit along down below, of course. And you know, all you have to do is just post a picture of your finished pajama cardigan, and then you'll be entered to win the giveaway. Currently we have two beautiful renditions of the what is this called? Of the pajama cardigan posted on there. They're beautiful. They did such a great job. So yeah, go ahead and post your finished objects there, or your finished pajama cardigan there. When it's done, you have until January 30th. So you have a couple more weeks to post it there. So there's that. Yep. And the last thing I want to talk about is I'm really considering doing a knit night, like a virtual knit night with anyone who wants to join. And I'm thinking the day before Valentine's Day, Friday or February 13th, which if you watch Parks and Recreation, we all know is Galentine's Day. That's the day before Valentine's Day, where ladies get to hang out with their gals and, you know, celebrate each other. And, you know, like, I know that not all my viewers are ladies, so I'm thinking about calling it a Palentine's Day. You know, like, we're all pals here, you know, so it's gonna be Palentine's Day. Knit night or knit time. I'm thinking about, because I am on the East Coast, I'm thinking about doing it at like a 3 o'clock, a 3 or 4 o'clock on the 13th. That way, like, people on the West Coast can join, people across the pond, people across the Atlantic Ocean can join if they want. It'll probably be late, but if they want to join, they can. I haven't worked out the details yet, but that's something I'm really considering doing, and I'm really trying to hash out the details in my brain about what that's going to look like. So to stay posted on that, I will do like the invite and everything through Instagram. So give me a follow on Instagram to keep up with that. Yeah, it'll probably be through like Google Meet, which because I don't think you have to pay for that. But if I do, I'll pay for Zoom. I'll probably do like a poll or something on Instagram to see like what means of like communication work best for everyone, whether it be Zoom or Google Hang or Google Meet or whatever. You know, whatever works for everyone or works for the most people. I know Google stuff is pretty self-explanatory. I know if I did Zoom and if I didn't pay for it, we'd be limited to 45 minutes, and I don't want to limit it. I want people to come and go as they please. Like, I want it to be like just a fun time for everyone just to hang, you know, to knit, to chit chat, you know, to get to talk to you guys, you know, screen to screen, to hear your voices, you know, like just to hang. I thought about either doing that or like a live stream on YouTube, but maybe a live stream could be for something else. Because I like the idea of a live stream, then you guys, you know, chatting with me through the live stream, but I also would like to talk to you guys, you know. But like that would be something that like I would have to invite you to, like the Zoom thing. Like, it's not going to be an open thing. I think it's because I don't want like I don't want like trolls coming in or out, because like you can get that with a live stream, which but I wanted to, you know, yeah, I wanted to be like an RSVP event basically, for my first one. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'll once I've figured out, I will talk about it more on Instagram. I'll post some stuff on Instagram. I have about a month to figure all that out. But yeah, we shall see. We shall see how that goes. So I think that's about it. I think that's all I have to share with you tonight. And wow, I am below an hour. I'm at 53 minutes right now. Like, I don't know. Like, that never happens. That hasn't happened in a long time. But, yeah, so I will leave it here. It's getting darker. I have a few things I have to do tonight. Yeah, so I'll leave it here. I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for coming along and hanging out with me and spending time with me. I always love spending time with you guys and visiting with you and getting to know you. And I say this all the time, but it's true. Getting to know you and, you know, just learning more about each other and developing our friendships and our little, you know, cozy moth community. I'm really enjoying this time, and I look forward to filming every week, and as much as I don't like editing, even editing and then sending it out on Sunday and then replying to comments and DMs, and I just, you know, I love hanging with you guys. You guys are my knitting pals. And so yeah, we'll leave it here, and I will take this opportunity to say, you know, stay safe out there, keep knitting, and I will see you all later.